Once upon a time, in the quiet land of Eldoria, the people and the mermaids were enemies. No one really remembered how the fight began. Some said the humans tried to steal from the sea. Others said the mermaids took something precious from the land. Whatever it was, it caused a big war many years ago. After so much pain and loss, the two sides made a strong promise. They said, "You stay in your world, and we'll stay in ours." The people of Eldoria were not allowed to go near the ocean again, and the mermaids stayed far away from the land. That was the only way peace could stay between them. Now, in that same village, there lived a very rich man named Mr. Daniel. Mr. Daniel could not walk. His legs stopped working when he was a young man, and since then, he had lived in a wheelchair. But even though he could not walk, he was very smart in business. People came from other villages just to work for him. He owned lands, animals, and shops. Everyone in Eldoria respected him. Mr. Daniel had a son named Ethan. Ethan was 10 years old. He was smart, kind, and full of life. His mother had died when he was still a baby, so he didn't remember her face. All he had was a picture and stories people told him. The person who raised Ethan like a mother was Martha, the housemaid. Martha had been with Mr. Daniel for many years. She cooked, cleaned, and took care of the boy. But deep in her heart, Martha was not a good woman. She smiled in front of Ethan and his father. She gave Ethan food and tucked him in at night. But when no one was looking, her smile would disappear. One day, she whispered to herself as she stirred the pot in the kitchen, "Everything in this house will be mine." Martha wanted Mr. Daniel's wealth for herself, but she knew that as long as Ethan was alive, she would get nothing. Everything would go to the boy. If only he was never born, she would mutter under her breath. What Martha did not know was that Ethan was not just any boy. He was special. He had a gift no one in the village knew about, not even Mr. Daniel. Ethan could hear the wind whisper. He could feel things others couldn't. And sometimes when he placed his hands on his father's knees, Mr. Daniel said he felt a strange warmth running through his body. "Ethan," his father said one morning as the boy helped him sit on the porch, "when you touch me, my legs feel alive." Ethan looked up with a soft smile. "Maybe one day you'll walk again, Papa." Mr. Daniel chuckled. "You sound just like your mother. She always believed in miracles." Ethan giggled and rested his head on his father's arm. Martha stood at the window watching them. Her eyes were sharp. Her mouth was tight. Her hands gripped the curtain. "Foolish boy," she hissed under her breath. "You will never take what should be mine." That night, as the moon rose high in the sky, Martha sat alone in her room. She lit a small candle and opened a wooden box she had kept hidden for years. Inside was a dark stone, a forbidden object from the ocean. It was given to her long ago by someone who had once met the mermaids. She stared into the stone and whispered, "I am ready." She had made up her mind. She was going to get rid of Ethan, not just send him away. She wanted him gone forever. She didn't know that the boy she wanted to destroy was not just her master's son. Ethan was the Messiah of Eldoria, the one chosen to save the land from a dark future. And with the power inside him, he could even make his father walk again. That night, after everyone had gone to sleep, Martha sat in her dark room. Only a small candle gave light, and in front of her was the strange stone. It was dark purple, shiny, and cold to touch. She held the stone with both hands and whispered, "I'm ready." Suddenly, the stone became warm. It glowed softly, and Martha heard a voice inside her head. It wasn't loud, but it was clear, like someone whispering from far away. "If you want everything for yourself, you must remove the boy." Martha's hands shook a little. She had never harmed anyone before, but her heart was full of greed. She had lived with Mr. Daniel for many years, long before his wife came. She cooked, cleaned, and stayed loyal. But when he married and had Ethan, everything changed. She remembered how Daniel lost his parents and siblings in a gas explosion many years ago. He was left all alone with no one but her. That made her feel special. "Now he has that boy," she said, gritting her teeth. But not for long. She looked at the glowing stone again. "Once the boy is gone," the voice inside said, he will have no one left but you. You will be his next of kin. Everything he owns will be yours. Martha nodded slowly, her eyes cold. I will do it, she said. I must. The stone had been given to her long ago by a wicked mermaid she met by the sea. The mermaid promised her power if she ever needed it. Now was the time to use it. The next evening, Martha knocked on Ethan's door. Ethan, she said with a soft smile, would you like to go out with me today? I want to show you something beautiful. Ethan's eyes lit up with joy. Really? Where? He asked. It's a surprise, she said, patting his head. Excited, Ethan ran to his father's room. Daddy, guess what? Martha is taking me out to see something nice. Mr. Daniel smiled. That's wonderful, son. Have fun. And be careful. Ethan hugged his father. I will, Papa. Martha stood behind the boy, smiling sweetly. But inside, her heart was like stone. They walked for a long time until they reached the large waterside, a quiet, deep river that the villagers never visited. The place looked calm, but the water was very dark. Ethan looked around. Wow, Martha, this place is so big. What are we here to see? Martha didn't answer. She looked around, her hands shaking. The stone in her pocket had told her that the mermaid would appear once she arrived. But nothing happened. She looked at the water, then at the sky. Still no sign. Her heart beat faster. She felt hot and cold at the same time. Ethan walked closer to the edge and asked, Martha, what did you bring me here to see? Suddenly, Martha snapped. She turned to him with angry eyes and shouted, you will regret ever following me. Ethan stepped back in fear. What do you mean? He stammered. Martha pointed a shaking finger at him. I didn't bring you here to play. I brought you here to destroy you. Ethan gasped. His legs trembled. Why, Martha? What did I do? You took everything from me. She screamed. I've lived with your father for years. Then you came and stole him from me. If you're gone, everything will be mine. Ethan turned and started to run. No! She yelled. She chased after him. Though he was fast, she caught his arm. With a loud cry, she pushed him hard into the deep water. Splash! Ethan hit the cold river and began to struggle. His small hands reached up, trying to hold onto something. He couldn't swim. Help me, he cried, choking on water. Please. Martha stood at the edge, watching him go under. She saw him fight the water, kicking and gasping, but she didn't care. Instead, she laughed, her voice sharp and cruel. Then she turned her back and walked away.
When Martha got back to the house, it was already dark. Her clothes were wet with sweat and her hands were shaking. She didn't know how to act normal, but she had to. As she stepped into the living room, Mr. Daniel was waiting. He looked worried. Martha, he said, his voice shaky. Where is Ethan? Martha froze. Her heart began to race. She quickly made up a lie. He ran away, she said, pretending to cry. A strange woman came and said she was your late wife's sister. She said Ethan was her nephew. I tried to stop him. I did, but he followed her. Mr. Daniel blinked, confused. What? My wife's people don't live in this village. Martha, what are you saying? What have you done to my son? Martha wiped her fake tears and knelt down in front of him. Please, sir, you know me. I've worked for you since forever. I would never harm Ethan. I love him like my own. Please trust me. Mr. Daniel sighed. He wanted to believe her, but his heart was heavy. He felt something was wrong. I don't understand this, he muttered. Where would Ethan go? My son has never walked off with a stranger before. Still unsure, he called some of the village men and asked them to go search around, especially near the river. They searched for hours, but no one saw Ethan. He was gone. Back under the water, in the deep part of the river, a soft blue light began to shine. A young mermaid with bright green eyes and long golden hair swam nearby. Her name was Celestia, the daughter of the queen mother of the mermaids. She was playing with some pearl shells when she suddenly saw something unusual. Mama! She shouted, swimming quickly. Come quick! A human is drowning! The queen mother, named Queen Nerida, swam over slowly. She had shining silver scales and a crown made of glowing seaweed. What is it this time, Celestia? She asked. Please, Mama, look! Celestia pointed to the human boy struggling under the water. We have to help him. Queen Nerida crossed her arms. No, Celestia. We made a vow with the humans long ago. We must not help them. Let him go. He does not belong here. Celestia's eyes filled with tears. But Mama, he's just a boy. He's scared. He's not our enemy. Queen Nerida looked at her daughter and sighed. She hated seeing Celestia cry. Oh, fine, she said at last. Let's go. They swam quickly toward the drowning boy. As soon as Queen Nerida touched Ethan's hand, something strange happened. Ethan's eyes turned bright blue. What? Queen Nerida gasped. Did you see that? The other mermaids who had gathered looked shocked. He has mermaid blood, one whispered. No, he can't be, said another. But Queen Nerida kept holding Ethan's hand. He's not just any human, she said slowly. We need to take him with us. The other mermaids agreed. Normally humans couldn't breathe underwater, but Ethan could. They planned to give him a special pearl to help him breathe, but they discovered something surprising. He already has the power, one of the mermaids whispered. He doesn't need our help to live underwater. Queen Nerida nodded. Say nothing. Let's take him. They gently carried Ethan through the deep water, past shining coral trees and glowing fish. At last, they reached the Mermaid Kingdom, a beautiful palace made of crystal and seashells. When Ethan woke up, he looked around in fear. Where am I? He asked softly. You are safe, Queen Nerida said kindly. My name is Celestia, the young mermaid said, swimming closer to him. What's your name? I'm Ethan, he said. My maid pushed me into the river. I've never been to the river before. I can't swim. That's why I almost died. The mermaids looked at each other in shock. Who would want to hurt a smart boy like you? Celestia asked. You're just a child. Ethan looked down. Please, he said. I want to go home. My dad will be looking for me. If he doesn't hear from me in days, he might die.
Ethan sat quietly on a soft rock inside the mermaid's glowing kingdom. He looked around, wondering if this was all a dream. The water didn't feel like water anymore, it felt like magic. He could breathe, talk, and even move as if he had lived here his whole life. Celesta sat beside him, her shiny green tail gently swaying. She smiled kindly at him. You're very lucky, she said. No human has ever lived here before. But you are different. Queen Nerida, Celesta's mother, stood tall with her long silver hair floating around her. Her golden crown sparkled like the stars. We know who you are now, Ethan, she said gently. Ethan blinked. Who am I? The queen looked at her daughter, then back at Ethan. A long time ago, one of our own, a beautiful mermaid named Serafina, fell in love with a human man. Ethan's eyes widened. Really? Yes, the queen replied. It was against the rules. Mermaids are not allowed to love humans. But Serafina's heart was full of love, and she couldn't stay away. She begged me, her queen and mother, to help her live on land so she could be with the men she loved. What did you say? Ethan asked softly. I gave her what she wanted, Queen Nerida said, her voice calm. I gave her the power to become human, but I warned her if she ever got pregnant, she would not survive after giving birth. Celesta lowered her head, but she didn't listen. Queen Nerida nodded slowly. She gave birth to a baby boy. The very moment she held him in her arms, she smiled, and then she closed her eyes forever. Ethan's eyes filled with tears. You mean she was my mother? The queen stepped forward and gently touched his shoulder. Yes, Ethan. Serafina was your mother. That's why you can live under the water like us. That's why your eyes turned blue when we touched you. You are half mermaid, half human. Ethan stared at his hands, then looked up. Why didn't my daddy tell me? Your father may not have known, Queen Nerida said. Or maybe he was too sad to talk about it. Losing Serafina broke his heart. But Martha said my mum's people don't live in the village, Ethan said. She was hiding something. Celesta's face changed. She's dangerous. She tried to kill you. Ethan nodded. I want to go home and tell my daddy everything. He'll be so worried. Queen Nerida raised her hand. Not yet, Ethan. You must stay here a little longer. Why? He asked. Because you have power, she said. And if you return now, Martha will try to hurt you again. You must learn how to protect yourself first. Ethan sat up straight. I'm ready. Teach me. I want to be strong. I want to save my daddy. He's all I have. Celesta smiled. We will teach you how to use the sea's power, how to fight, how to swim faster than any fish, and how to hear the whispers of the water. Serena, the oldest mermaid in the kingdom, swam forward. It won't be easy, young one, but your heart is brave. You will learn. The queen nodded. When the time is right, we will send you back. But not as a weak little boy. You will return as the protector of your father and of the village. Ethan looked around at all the mermaids. Their eyes were kind and full of hope. For the first time in his life, he felt strong. He felt like he truly belonged. He held the glowing shell the queen gave him tightly in his hand. I'll do it, he said with a firm voice. I'll make my mummy proud. The waters around him shimmered like stars, and the training began. In the land of Eldoria, things were no longer the same. Mr. Daniel sat on the long wooden chair in his living room, staring at the front door, hoping it would open and Ethan would walk in with a big smile. But Ethan didn't come. Martha walked into the room and sat beside him. She held his hand gently and said, "Please, Mr. Daniel, don't cry anymore. You're not alone. I'm here for you." But Mr. Daniel shook his head. His eyes were red from crying every day. You don't understand, Martha, he said softly. I don't want comfort. I just want my son. I want Ethan to come back to me alive. Martha stood up quickly and walked to the window. But what if he's gone forever? She whispered. Mr. Daniel looked at her sharply. Don't say that. Don't ever say that again. He is not gone. My son is alive. I can feel it in my heart. Martha swallowed hard. She didn't mean to make him angry, but inside her heart, she didn't like Ethan. She never wanted the boy to return. Mr. Daniel looked out the window, his voice low and full of pain. That's why I didn't let him go near the river. I knew his mother's people are not like us. They're mermaids, and I don't even know any of her sisters. What if one of them took my son? He sighed deeply. I already lost his mother. I can't lose him too. Meanwhile, deep inside the magical water kingdom, Ethan was learning things he never thought he could do. His teacher, a wise old mermaid named Serena, showed him how to move fast like a fish and how to make the water listen to him. Close your eyes, Ethan, Serena said. Feel the water around you. Let it move with your heart. Ethan closed his eyes and suddenly the water swirled around him in small circles. He smiled. I did it. Celesta clapped. Very good, Ethan. You are learning so fast. Queen Nerida watched with pride. He is his mother's child. Serafina was strong too. One evening, after training, Ethan sat with Celesta and Serena. Queen Nerida told them stories of the human world and how they were once friends with mermaids. Long ago, the queen began. Humans and mermaids lived in peace. We helped them, healed their sick, and blessed their waters. But then some bad humans hurt our kind. They started hunting us, thinking we were evil. Since then, we stayed away from land. We kept to the sea. Ethan looked down. That's so sad. But I want to change that. I want humans to see that not all mermaids are bad. Queen Nerida smiled gently. That is why you must grow strong. One day, you will stand between both worlds. As days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, Ethan grew taller, stronger, and wiser. His eyes stayed blue, and his heart was brave. One full year passed under the sea. Back in Eldoria, Mr. Daniel was getting weaker. His body shook, and he coughed a lot. The doctor said he needed rest, but rest couldn't fix a broken heart. He missed his son too much. Martha took care of him, but in her heart, she was tired. She tried to make Mr. Daniel love her. She wore her best dresses, made sweet food, and even brought him warm tea every morning. But Mr. Daniel only said, "Thank you," and nothing more. He still wore his wedding ring and kept Ethan's photo by his bedside. One night, Martha sat alone in her room. Her eyes were full of anger. "I've done everything," she hissed. "Everything. And he still loves that dead woman? And her son?" She walked back and forth, thinking hard. Then she stopped and smiled a wicked smile. "If I can't have him, then I will take everything he has." She looked in the mirror. It's time. Time for a new plan. A plan that will end Mr. Daniel forever. She picked up her phone and made a call. "Yes," she whispered. "I'm ready. Let's make it look like an accident." Martha stood at the window, looking out at the tall cliff that stood near Mr. Daniel's house. She knew exactly what she wanted to do. "Tomorrow, I'll push him off the cliff," she whispered to herself, her voice full of excitement. "It will look like an accident. No one will suspect anything." She smiled to herself. "Or maybe I could make it look like he committed suicide. That way, no one will know I had anything to do with it." She thought hard about the best place to do it. She didn't want to fail. She needed to make sure Mr. Daniel was gone for good. Then, she could take everything he had, his money, his house, and even his company. What she didn't know was that Ethan and the mermaids were watching her every move from the water. Under the sea, Ethan swam with his mermaid friends. They had been keeping a close eye on Martha, and they were worried about Mr. Daniel. Queen Nerida called Ethan to her side. "Ethan," she said softly, "Martha is planning something dangerous. Tomorrow, she will try to harm your father. You must go back and stop her. Your father is in great danger." Ethan's heart skipped a beat. "What? My dad? But I don't want her to hurt him." The mermaids nodded. "She plans to push him off a cliff and make it look like an accident. You must hurry and save him." Ethan's eyes filled with determination. He had learned so much during his time with the mermaids, and now it was time to use those lessons for something important. "But how will I get to him in time?" Ethan asked, feeling worried. Queen Nerida smiled gently at him. "We will help you. You have the power to reach the human world. You have everything you need to stop her." Ethan smiled, feeling strong. He had his powers. He could do this. "Thank you," he said. "I will save my father." Before he left, Celesta, one of the young mermaids, swam up to him, tears in her eyes. "I wish I could go with you," she said, her voice full of sadness. "I don't want to be apart from you." Ethan hugged her tightly. "I will be back, I promise. I have to do this for my father and for both our worlds." Celesta wiped her tears and smiled at him. "I'll be waiting for you." With a final hug, Ethan swam out of the water, feeling the cool ocean currents push him toward the surface. Back at Mr. Daniel's house, everything seemed peaceful, but Ethan knew the danger was real. He reached the house just as the sun was starting to set, casting a golden glow over the land. When Ethan arrived, he ran straight toward the house. But before he could get inside, he saw something that made his heart race. Mr. Daniel was standing near the edge of the roof, looking down. Ethan's heart pounded in his chest. He knew what Martha was planning. She was going to hurt his dad. Ethan didn't hesitate. He ran as fast as he could. But just as he was about to reach his father, he saw Martha standing nearby. She froze when she saw him. "You!" Martha gasped. Her face turned pale with fear. Ethan didn't waste any time. He shouted, "You won't get away with this." Turned quickly to the workers standing near the house. "Get her," he commanded. The workers moved quickly, grabbing Martha before she could escape. She struggled, but it was no use. Ethan had won. With Martha caught, Ethan turned back to his father. He ran to him, his heart racing with hope. "Dad, don't worry. I'm here now." Mr. Daniel turned around, and his eyes widened in surprise when he saw his son standing before him. "Ethan? Is it really you?" Ethan smiled and walked toward his father. He placed his hands on Mr. Daniel's shoulders. The moment he touched him, something magical happened. Mr. Daniel felt a warm energy spread through his body. His legs, which had been stiff and weak, suddenly felt strong again. What is happening?" Mr. Daniel asked, shocked and amazed. Ethan grinned. "It's a long story, Dad. I'll tell you everything one day. But for now, just know that I'm here, and I've come to save you." Mr. Daniel's eyes filled with tears. "My son, you're back. I never thought I'd see you again." "Thank you, Ethan. Thank you for saving me. Ethan gave his father a big hug. I will always protect you, Dad. I promise. And as they hugged, Martha stood in the background, defeated. Her plan had failed, and she could see that Ethan was not just a normal boy. He was powerful, and he had returned to save his father. Ethan stood beside his father, his heart filled with hope. He had just used his powers to help his dad stand on his own feet again, something Mr. Daniel had not been able to do. For a long time, Mr. Daniel looked at his son, his eyes wide with amazement. You did it, Ethan. You made me walk again, Mr. Daniel said, his voice full of surprise and joy. Ethan smiled proudly. Yes, Dad. I've been learning so many things from the mermaids. I'm not the same boy you used to know. I have powers now, and I can use them to help you. Mr. Daniel was still in shock, but then his face grew serious. But what happened, Ethan? Why did Martha try to hurt us? Ethan took a deep breath and began to tell his father everything. Martha wanted to take everything from us. She thought if she got rid of you, she could take over everything you have. She planned to push you off the cliff and make it look like an accident. But I stopped her. And I also need to tell you something important, Dad. Mr. Daniel listened carefully. What is it, Ethan? Ethan looked down at his feet for a moment, then raised his head. Mom, she wasn't just a regular woman. She was part of the mermaid people. She loved a human, my dad, and they had me. But there's a rule. If a mermaid has a child with a human, the mermaid can't survive after childbirth. That's why Mom is no longer here. She gave her life so that I could live. Mr. Daniel's eyes filled with tears. So, your mother, she loved me that much? I never knew. I never knew she had to sacrifice so much. Ethan nodded. Yes, Dad. And because I have mermaid blood in me, I have special powers. That's how I could heal you and do all these amazing things. Mr. Daniel stood there, speechless for a moment. Then he hugged Ethan tightly. I'm so proud of you, son. You've grown up so strong and brave. You've saved me and helped so many people. I will never forget this. Ethan smiled. I'm just doing what's right. And I'm not done yet. I want to make sure humans and mermaids can live together peacefully. As they spoke, people from all around the village gathered to see what had happened. They had heard about Ethan's powers, and they were amazed by what they saw. Ethan smiled at them, his heart filled with hope for the future. I'm not just going to stop with my dad, Ethan said. I have the power to heal and help. I want to use my powers to help everyone. The mermaids and the humans should not be enemies. We can work together and live in peace. He placed his hands over the crowd, and one by one, people felt a warm, healing energy spread through them. Wounds and sicknesses were healed, and people began to smile, feeling better than they had in years. The villagers watched in awe as Ethan's powers worked wonders. He's amazing, one villager said. We've never seen anything like it.